Hi there, this is Professor Eckhouse, I am going to talk to you today about simple interest. So this is an application of percent. So we're going to look at the simple interest formula, but first, what is interest and where do we see it in the world? So interest is a percent that is charged on a loan, so on loans or on savings or mutual funds, things like that. So we could see it on savings accounts. We could see it on things like loans for a car or a house, that kind of thing. There's lots of things we see interest on. So what is the difference between interest and interest rate? Same as before, interest is money, and interest rate is a percent, which we convert to a decimal. Okay, so the simple interest formula is right here in green, highlighting. Now it's in a red box. Have that written somewhere, and we're going to write it over and over and over again. So you need to know what each of these things are. When you're using a formula, it really helps to be able to translate a given problem if you know what every single thing is. So interest is the money you make or pay on the principal each year. So it's money. The principal is the amount of money you start with as savings or as a loan, something like that. The rate of interest is the percent of the principal as a decimal. So it'll say something like a 4% interest rate, but you have to change it to a decimal. And the time must be in years. So if it's in months, you have to convert it. So months, you would convert it by saying over 12. So that's a portion of a year. So 6 months would be 0.5 year, and so on. So why is it called simple interest? Because it just compounds one time a year. Compounds one time per year, and that is not actually how banks do it. They compound daily usually, which is a more complicated formula, but this will give us the gist of the situation. All right, so the method that we are going to use is for every simple interest problem you do, you need to write the following, the formula first, then fill in the blanks and plug in those numbers to the formula. Okay, so I want you to write this every time, and then write this, and then fill in all of the blanks. And the one that you're looking for, you're going to put a question mark for the unknown. And then you know exactly what it is that you're solving for. Okay, so that's how we're going to do it. If you're going to solve an equation with 4 variables, how many must be known and how many can be unknown? So 3 must be known. 3 must be known. Only 1 can be unknown. Okay, so you have 4 variables, 3 of them we gotta know, or we can't solve for the unknown. Okay, so there's only going to be 1 that you don't know, and you're going to leave it with its variable. All right, so this is how we're going to do each of the problems. We're going to say, find the simple interest earned after 5 years on $1,200 at an interest rate of 4%. All right, so what you want to do is you want to go through and you find every bit of it. 5 years. Well, that is obviously time. So I'm going to put 5 here, and remember, time must be years, so make sure it is. Sometimes it'll be given in months. On $1,200, well, that is your starting point, right? That's your principal. That's P. So we're going to put 1,200 right here at an interest rate of 4%. So the interest rate is 4%, but we need to convert that to 0.04. So find the simple interest earned. I even bolded it for you, so you could see that is what we're looking for, the simple interest earned. So I'm going to put a question mark right there. Okay. So I is our unknown, and that equals P. So that's our first variable. We're going to put the P in 1,200. The second variable is R. Try to stay in the order that it's given so that you don't lose track of what you're doing. 0.04. and t is the last one, that is 5. And you don't need to put any of the units in if you don't want to. It kind of makes it a little bit hard to look at because there's more information there. So just keep the numbers there, and the answer will be 240 when you put it in your calculator. So what did we just find? So the interest is $240. Okay, so think about it, 5 years, $1,200, interest rate of 4%, you make $240. All right, so you try this one. All right, so exact same problem. So we've got 10 years, that's T. $2,300 is P, that's your starting amount. An interest rate of 3.5%, but we need to convert that to 0.035, and the interest is what we are looking for. Okay, so I is what we're looking for, equals P, 2,300, R is 0.035, and T is 10. You've got to be a stickler with all of this stuff. The rate has to be converted to a decimal, and the time has to be in years. And you will get 805. 805 what? Well, we're talking about the interest earned, so it's money, dollars. So interest is $805. All right, so now we're going to find the principal invested. The principal invested if $240 interest was earned in 3 years at an interest rate of 4%. So here's all of our givens, and we are looking for the principal. So the principal is our question mark, right? 240 interest was earned, so I'm going to say 240, that's next to the I, and I'll even put dollars just so we know that's what we're talking about. In 3 years at an interest rate of 4%. So that is 0.04. All right, so we are looking for T, which you can solve for to start with if you want to. So you could start out by just solving for P, but a lot of people don't like to do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and plug in the numbers. You can choose either method that you like. But I'm going to show you by plugging in 240 equals P is our unknown, times the rate is 0.04 as a decimal, not as a percent, times 3. All right, so now how do you do this? There's a couple different things you can do. You could multiply 0.04 times 3 and write that and then take another step. Or you could just divide both sides by 0.04 times 3, just like that. So I'm going to say 0.04 times 3, and the other side I'm going to say 0.04 times 3. So you can go ahead and do the math ahead of time if you want to. That is totally fine. I did not ahead of time. I did it this way, so I don't have my numbers handy, so I'm not going to do that right now. But 240 divided by 0.04 times 3 is 2,000. So the principal is 2,000. Make sure that this number is bigger than 240, significantly bigger than 240, because the principal is always going to be more than the interest. Well, unless you have a loan shark that's loaning you money and then you get overextended, then that's not a good idea. But for a bank, you're going to have the principal's always going to be bigger than your interest. All right, now you try this one. All right, so find the principal invested. So that is P. So P is question mark. When 740 interest was earned in 4 years at a rate of 3.7%. Okay, 740 is interest, so I'm going to put that here. The rate is 3.7%, which is 0.037, and the time is 4 years. I might even want to start putting years because you just need to make sure it's in years. All right, so I is 740 equals P is what we're looking for. R is 0.037 and T is 4. So I'm going to divide both sides by 0.037 times 4. And I get that P equals 740 over those two things, and you should get 5,000. So again, a bigger number than 740, significantly bigger. So that's the principal, that's the money that you invested, and you made $740 on it. All right, now we're going to find the rate. All right, so the rate of, if a principal of $7,600 earned that much interest, so this is the interest. It doesn't say interest, but it says it earned. Interest, sorry. So a principal of $7,600 earned that much interest in 3 years. All right, the principal is $7,600. The rate, we do not know because that is what we're looking for. So I'm going to put question mark right there. And I really encourage you, I would really like for you to put a question mark next to the one you're looking for so you can keep track of it. The time is 3, and you can put years if you want to. And the interest made is $1,550.40. All right, so let's fill everything in. 1,550.40 equals the principal. That's what we do not know, the principal, times the rate. Sorry, oh, that's what we do know. I'm thinking about the last problem. It's the rate we don't know. The principal is $7,600, and I'm going to put a $sign right there. $7,600 times the rate, that's what we don't know, times 3. All right, so to solve for rate, all of these things are multiplied, so we're just going to divide both sides by 7,600 times 3. 7,600 times 3. Both of those are going to cancel out to make 1. And when I divide, I get that the rate, which is on the right, but that's okay, it doesn't really matter, is 0.068. 0.068, which is 6.8%. So we just found the rate of interest earned on $7,600. All right, now go ahead and try this one. Same kind of problem, different numbers. Okay, find the rate. Find the rate, so I'm going to say question mark. If a principal of $1,800 earned 702, that's the interest, that's what it earned. So you have to think about these problems as you read them. It earned 702 interest in 6 years. All right, so I've got 702 equals, the principal is 1,800. The rate is unknown, and the time is 6 years. And I'm going to divide both sides by 1,800 times 6. 1,800 times 6, and those cancel out, and you're going to get that the rate is 0.065, or 6.5%. All right, next one, applications. So continue using this method above where I list everything out. It'll help you to find everything in the problem. So Maria deposited $10,500 in her bank account. What is that? Well, that's the principal. It's what you start with. So let's put that here, $10,500. Where it will earn 3.5% interest. What is that? That is the rate. 3.5% is 0.035. How much interest will she earn in 4 years? So there's a couple things you need to think about here. How much interest will she earn? So that's our question mark, is interest, and 4 years is a given. So there's our 4 years. All right, so we're looking for interest. So this one will be simple. I equals principal, 10,500, times 0.035 times 4. And when you plug that in, you should get $1,450. Okay, so that's our interest. All right. Juan lent his brother $2,500 to help him buy a car. If you would like to try this without me, pause your video and give it a try. All right, so when he lent $2,500, that is going to be the principal of the loan, $2,500. In 4 years, that's going to be the time his brother paid him back. So 4 years. I can't write years today. Brother paid him back the amount loaned plus $200. So that right there is the interest. That's the plus, the extra money he had to pay. Okay, so sometimes you have to translate some of this from real world talk, right? What was the rate of interest? The rate of interest. So that is question mark. All right, so we've got 200 equals the principal, 2,500, times the rate, which is a question mark, we don't know, and times 4. All right, so we're going to divide both sides. Now you can multiply 2,500 times 4, and that's actually 1,000. So you could divide both sides, you could multiply times the 2, you end up with 1,000, then divide by 1,000, or do it separately like this. It doesn't really matter, it's the same thing. So 200 divided by 1,000 is going to be 0.02, which is the rate, which is 2%. He only charged 2%. That was super nice. What a nice brother. That's a very low interest rate for a loan, for a car. All right. Keisha noticed that her new car loan paper stated that an interest rate of, with an interest rate of 7.5%, she would pay $37.50 over 5 years. How much did she borrow for the car? And how much total will she pay? All right, so let's look at some things. 7.5%, that's more of a typical interest rate on a car. So that's going to be 7.5%, which is 0.075. She would pay $37.50 in interest over 5 years. So let's figure out where that goes. $37.50 in interest, so that's the interest that she pays over 5 years. How much did she borrow? That's the principal, right? So question mark. How much total will she pay? We'll deal with that next. Okay, so how much did she borrow for the car? So we've got interest, $37.50, equals the principal, which is our unknown, times R, which is 0.075, times 5. So divide both sides by 0.075 times 5. And you should get that P equals $10,000. So she borrowed $10,000 for the car, and then she paid $37.50 in interest. So the total that she paid was $13,750, equals the total paid at the end. Okay, so the total you pay is the principal plus the interest in the end. All right, example 10. Samantha made $4,000 working over the summer and invested in a 10-month certificate of deposit that earned 3.5% interest. How much interest did she earn? All right, so $4,000 is how much she invested. So that's going to be her principal. And invested in a 10-month certificate. So 10 months, that's not in years, so you've got to put it over 12 months per year is basically what's happening there. And the months are going to cancel out and years comes to the top. But if you can just remember to divide by 12, that would be great. So basically 5/6. 5/6 of a year. 5/6 of a year. All right, now it earned 3.5% interest, and we want to know how much she's going to have after that 10 months. All right, how much money, how much interest did she earn? Oh, you know what? I'm going to underline those in pink because that's what I've been doing. So how much money will she have? How much interest did she earn? First, we have to learn how much interest she earned. So that is the question mark. And the rate is 3.5%, which is 0.035. All right, so the interest is our question mark. That's I equals P, 4,000, times R, 0.035, times 5/6. So just take that and put it right in your calculator. 4,000 times 0.035 times 5 and divide by 6. And you're going to get 116.66666666, which rounds to 67. $116.67. That's pretty good for 10 months, $116. All right. Oh, so how much money will she have? Sorry, almost forgot. So how much money will she have? She put in $4,000 plus she made $116.67. So she will have $4,116.67 total at the end that she'll be able to take out of the bank. All right, last one. A payday loan company charges a $60 fee for a $500 payday loan that will be repaid in 14 days. So this is a pretty common thing that you see, especially in larger cities, payday loan companies. So if the fee was interest, so $60, if you treated it as interest, let's see what the equivalent annual interest rate would be. So first we've got to think about 14 days. Well, how much of a year is that? Well, we're going to divide by 365 days per year. So that's how much of a year it is. So we get that this is 0.038356 of a year, right? So it's that much. Let me move this over a little bit. It's that much of a year. So we call it 0.038356 year. Okay. And you can use the fraction in the word problem if you want to, but all right. So $60 is the interest that you get charged. So 60 goes here. The principal is 500. So the interest is 60. The principal is 500. The rate we do not know. That's what we're looking for. And the time is 0.038356 year, right? A very small portion of a year. Okay, so we're going to find the rate. So we've got $60 equals the principal, 500, times the rate that we want to know we're being charged, times 0.038356. All right, we're going to divide both sides by the 500, and you can go ahead and multiply this out if you want to, because that's a lot of writing, right? 50 times 0.038356, and we get that the rate, oh my goodness, is 3.13. Is that 3.13%? No, we have to multiply by 100. So that means the rate is 313%. Yeah, payday loans, not a good deal. All right, thanks for watching.